Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love. Beyond.
Bed Love Beyond. Bed Love Beyond.
Welcome to Bed Love Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, relationships, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love like us. I'm Miss April.
I'm Jen.
Today is episode 154, a very special episode.
I used to love those. Like, it's a very special episode of Knots Landing. Actually, no, I'm gonna lie, I've never seen Knots Landing. But
I think I've seen it, but not like faithfully. Like, I've just seen it. I just know what it looks like if it comes on. But
right.
I could be like, this is Knots Landing, but I don't know the characters and what's going on.
Before we get into that, is anything exciting going on in your life? Anything that can catch up our...
Just summertime.
I know.
Nothing exciting, but I'll be headed to the Carolinas this weekend.
Nice.
That's exciting. I get to finally see Charlotte in person after all my research.
Let's see if it's...
On if I could live there. I finally get to drive around and look at it.
I'm still in denial, so don't worry. April's not leaving. She's going to get there and be like, yeah.
I still got to stay a whole nother year, though.
Here?
My apartment is like $250 a month to be month to month.
I see like apartments for you all the time. I'm like, when she's ready, I'll send them. I'm like, they're right over here.
I think about like if it was $250 just extra, I would pay it. But $250 a month, no way.
Oh, that's a little ridiculous.
If they just said pay us $250 and we'll let you out your lease, or we'll take $250 out your security, I'd be like, all right. But $250 a month? That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
After the high ass rent we already pay?
Highway robbery.
No way.
Oh, somebody had like a post online and said like leaving New Jersey, headed to Nevada. Something about like because you've taxed everything or something. And then all the comments were like, you'll be back. I was like, damn, y'all, I hate her.
I met somebody who moved to Vegas and she said she really liked it. And she said she had a 2-bedroom apartment for $800, and she was like she was making $19 an hour, which really went a long way out there.
Wow.
And she was like her car insurance was cheap, and her apartment was cheap, and she was like she really saw her money. Like, you know how some people feel like I don't see my paycheck, but
right.
she's like I saw my paycheck. I didn't feel like I was struggling.
And she was making $9 an hour.
19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which for out there is
a lot.
If you rent is only $800 and car insurance is not $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year. And so she was like, I really liked it out there, but she was saying she kept getting sick, and I don't know, she lost her job, but she didn't really go into detail. But she was like, I kept getting sick and ended up in the hospital, so I had to come home. So I don't know what that
other
means,
places look so much more appealing, especially if you think like your money can go further. I'm just not good at change. Just not really good at it at all. I suck at it. I'm like, so to change like my state entirely.
Yeah.
But nothing really exciting is going on over here. Trying out looking into the adoption thing. It's very scary. It's like, we went the free route first. I say it like that. But like going through the state. And they were like, you can have a 7-year-old. I was like, no. I don't need some like kid coming up in my house being like, bitch, you're not my mom. Like, yes, honey, but I wanted to try to give you a better life. He'd be like, fuck you and fuck this dog. Like, okay, gotta go.
And it is sad that like I guess it'd be. I mean, I have heard of people who end up with some really sweet kids.
Yeah.
It's just you just don't know. You know, that's the problem. You just don't know.
I think if I was like much older, like retired, and Levinci and I talked about that, like if I was retired, that like if we were both retired actually, that like we would foster or adopt older kids.
Right, because it's like you have more time to. I mean,
right.
You don't have to work, so you have more time to put attention to their need, like special needs
or whatever. Just there's just like a party that like wants to do the raising and child rearing part.
Yeah, and see the child's development and kind of mold them into what you. Yeah.
Be like, you're gonna be sarcastic just like me. and not afraid of things, unlike your dad. But that's all that's really going on. We're hosting our first 4th of July barbecue as a couple. That should be interesting. He's inviting his friends, and all week I've been like, this girl's coming to my house. And my friend's like, you're being a little ridiculous. I was like, I don't like girls. I was like, I'm sure she's fine, but I was like, I think I'm just being dramatic out loud. Mm-hmm. I am. So, should be
But if she's the laid-back, nonchalant girl that can take a joke.
You know what? I hope she is, because the rest... Yeah. Well, I don't know who listens to this. But some of his friends that I've met have been, like, very, like, needy. Mm-hmm. And like
for attention seekers.
Not even like for attention, just but like, my life is falling apart, help me. And it's like, ugh. Like, we're 40.
Well, that's attention.
Yeah, I guess.
Because are you homeless? Okay, right. So are you? Yeah. Are you starving and are you homeless? Right. Okay, so then you all right. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm always like a little hesitant to meet new people. I told you I don't like change.
It's like, there goes that change thing again.
Yeah, suck at it. So this episode was kind of born out of the fact that I've been watching a lot of new TV. I'm watching Euphoria on HBO, and I watch Grownish, which is the spinoff of Blackish. Mm-hmm. I don't really think we need it mixed-ish, but that's just my personal opinion that nobody asked for. But Grownish is a really good show, but, like, when I first started watching it, I was kind of like, is this what kids do in college? Like, I didn't know, because college was, like, so long ago for me. And I wasn't judging. I was more, like, scared. Like, are you guys really walking around, like, just selling rando pills and just sleeping with, like...
High school, too.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Like, and it was kind of just, like, not a culture shock, but, like, you know... It really, like, touched on those things. And I'm like, they weren't doing this in Saved by the Bell. Like, they weren't.
And who sold Jessie them caffeine pills? Where'd she get them caffeine pills from?
Oh, I don't know. I wonder if let me see. So what I did was, like, I was like, oh, let me look up all the very special episodes. And Wikipedia did it for me. Mm-hmm. So let me see the Jessie one. So Jessie is from Saved by the Bell. And it was season 2, episode 9, aired November of 1990. Jessie's struggling to find time and energy to rehearse for her friend's music video and study for school, so she begins to rely on caffeine pills to function as a form of substance abuse. Jessie wasn't doing coke.
Right.
Jessie was doing something you could probably get over the counter.
Something allegedly, quote-unquote, acceptable in a way.
Right.
Socially acceptable.
Because I think back then, like, I don't quite remember the 90s, but, like... Not Fen. There was, like, these other pills called, like, I don't know if they were Yellow Jackets or... There was something. They used to sell them at the mall in a kiosk. But that was more like 96, 97, 94, 95. Like, around there. But, Herbalife, maybe they were called. I don't know. But, like, they all, essentially, all those, like, pills are, like, caffeine pills that would, you know, speed up your metabolism or give you more energy during the day.
Cut your appetite.
Right.
And which is basically what Coke does.
Right,
but it's not as addictive. It's not addictive, basically.
But they weren't gonna show Coke on
But it's almost like they had to show, like, this is effects if you abuse something,
right,
and get out of control with it. A drug, basically. I mean, it is a drug. You taking it, it's altering your natural, you know, biology or physiology or whatever.
And then, like, so some of the other very special episodes was the Golden Girls episode in 1990 as well. I guess 1990 was the big breakout year for this stuff. Where Rose had gone a blood transfusion for gallbladder surgery, and she thought that she might have HIV. Mm-hmm. And I think who else had HIV? There was another one. I forget which one it was. Oh, Wesley's friend. That was in 1986. A long time. Wesley on Mr. Belvedere. That was cutting edge for 1986. Wesley, due to misconceptions about HIV and AIDS, avoids his friend and classmate Danny, who contracted the disease as a result of a blood transfusion. Always blood transfusions. No one ever says...
so was around here fucking in the gay movie porn theater.
Right.
Like on Philadelphia. Well, Philadelphia addressed it, but that was a movie.
Right.
But that was Philadelphia.
Was that the 90s?
Yep. I want to say 93 maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah. Somewhere in there, mid-90s. It wasn't the late 90s. It was like the...
HBO sometimes would have those specials. Like, what was that boy's name? Ryan White, I believe his name was.
Oh, I remember they have the little, like, feature story type of thing, yeah.
About how he got HIV. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I was like, I had a blood transfusion. Do I have AIDS? I was like, what the fuck? I was very scared.
Well, you would know about it.
I was tested, but I had to ask my mom. I was like, she's like, no, that's why you go for blood tests every year. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So some other ones were, everyone remembers the bicycle. I'm going to say everyone, like you guys are all from that era, but Different Strokes, the bicycle man, about how the one guy with the bicycle was like trying to target Sam. He was a pedophile. Oh, it was Arnold. I'm sorry, it wasn't even Sam. And then Arnold's Arnold's would-be abuser was arrested, and then he confides to his dad. In Full House, DJ had anorexia, or common symptoms of anorexia. Also, another one was Stephanie learned that her classmate was a victim of child abuse and feels conflicted whether or not she should tell an adult. A lot of these are just like on the surface.
Right. And like, it's almost like, too, let's do this episode to make us look socially responsible and then go back to our regular cookie cutter stuff.
Right.
Like, let's just do this once so we'll look like we give a fuck what's going on in the world.
I think there was a Sister Kate episode like that.
Because even like All in the Family and the Jeffersons was like cutting edge.
Yeah, they said something about oh no, that was Sanford and Son, where somebody wanted to marry outside of their race, and it made him confront his own racism.
Which is not surprising because what is his name? What's the comedian's name that used to write for Sanford and Son? He always has race jokes. Oh God, what is his name? I'm looking right at him. Looking right at in his face.
He wasn't the guy I don't remember that guy's name.
He was on the
new one that came. That wasn't
Chappelle's show. He would have his own.
Not Neil Brennan.
No, the older black guy.
Oh,
He would have his own little skit.
The Negro Damas guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Looking at his face, right?
I know, now I am too. Oh man, I wish I forgot his name.
I wish we could talk to you guys.
I know.
Or take calls. Hold on, let me see. Paul Mooney. Yeah, Paul Mooney used to write for Sanford and Son, so.
Did he? That's crazy.
And he wrote for Red Fox's stand-up and stuff, so I can see why that would have come up.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just feel like TV is like so different now, and I'm sure that it made like a transition at some point. But like, I just feel like some things are just like, I don't know if they were. I'm curious if they were as shocking then, like when they had these episodes, as they are now to us, or is this stuff that they're putting on TV now like absolutely like left wing type craziness? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, so Euphoria is basically, if you haven't seen it, about a teenage girl who gets out of rehab. She had an overdose, almost, and
she was diagnosed with bipolar and OCD and given pills from a young age. So
right. So she comes out of rehab and she kind of starts drug seeking again, and like she gets into all this stuff, and she has a transgender. Or transsexual. God, I always screw that up. She has a trans friend. And is she in love with her?
I don't know. But you know what I felt might have been a little irresponsible? And that's a big thing with TV too. Like, what's irresponsible? What's the right way to show something? What's the wrong way? Are you showing it? all those pills the mother was giving her after her diagnosis, I don't know if that's accurate.
Right.
Like, the mother literally had, like, was giving her, like, 6 pills that, like, if they say your child is got some mania or ADHD or whatever, 6 pills, though, who gonna give their kid all that? Like, okay, if you're telling me my son need medicine, I know my son need medicine. He out of control. He running all around. He won't sit down. And you give me 1 pill and say, see if this is going to help him calm down. I might be like, all right, but you give me 6 prescriptions?
6 prescriptions at once is a lot, but I've been to the psychiatrist with a couple of my clients, and, like, I went once, and he was like, you're going to take this for your mood. You're going to take this for your focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and then he's like, we're just going to try it for a couple months, and then if not, we'll try something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for a parent, that might get really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so maybe she's like, fuck it, just take all these pills. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like,
but most parents do not want to get a kid medication.
Most psychiatry is kind of just like a trial. Like, they don't know if the medication's going to work. They don't know if your body's going to, like, respond well to it. You know, whatever. But
let me try 1 pill at a time.
Right.
Like, I'm not about to dope this kid up with 6 different.
But that's the thing. Like, there's no one pill that's going to fix everything. So if she's depressed and she's bipolar and she's ADHD or whatever the case may be, they needed a pill for each of them.
Like, if you have multiple diagnoses, then, but I mean, I guess too, you would have to kind of, you got to pick, like, I would be like, all right, we're going to try this pill to calm you down, and then we'll see what we could work out in therapy.
Right.
And if I feel like, maybe you still, if you really, if you suffering from depression and therapy is not helping you, okay, maybe we can explore antidepressant. But, like, I would have to pump the brakes a little bit myself, because it just seems like a lot. But I do know that some people have multiple diagnoses, and you got OCD, anxiety, this, that, and all this going on.
And on one hand, I'm like, I'm glad they're talking about depression in kids, and I'm glad they're talking about bipolar and all these other things in kids, because back then, on your very special episodes, nobody had the SADs.
Right.
I don't remember anyway. Maybe in the later Degrassi years, or when other TV. Even then, like when Drake got in the wheelchair, was everybody sad then? I really don't know.
He was still rolling around the wheelchair cheesing.
Right. So, and trying to have sex and get it up. That was a really interesting. That was a very special episode. He's like, well, that still works. What? Why is this on Degrassi? But Euphoria kind of like touches on like how these kids go to parties and kind of just have sex with everyone, how the internet has kind of taken over and they look for sex on the internet and perform sex on the internet for money. And it was kind of like,
and the whole grown-ass man meeting a teenage girl underage in a hotel room thing with this family on a screensaver. Like,
there's a part of you that's like, this is disturbing, but then there's a part of you that like, this stuff is really happening.
It's reality. Yeah.
Like, and
it makes it seem like they imply that her prescription medication was the start of her dependence on.
Right.
That's implied to me. That's what that implied, because they zoomed in on the pills, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like it skips to her buying drugs and getting out of rehab. And it was just like.
And then I think her dad was sick at some point, and
Dad had cancer.
And Dad had cancer, and he was taking morphine or something, and she was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't like the pills. They make me whatever. They make me feel like I'm not here or something." She said, and then she's like, "Oh, fuck it, I'll try one." So far, to me, the most, and sorry for the spoiler alerts if you guys haven't watched it, the most like disturbing scene has been like when she was at her drug dealer's house, and the drug dealer, the main head drug dealer came, and he was like, "You really shouldn't be here," and she stayed anyway. And he was like, "Yo, just don't talk, play it cool, don't do nothing." And the head drug dealer like made her try fentanyl, and then he like kind of molested her. Yeah, I was like, this shit is disturbing. Like,
and we've heard it and seen it, doing case management to 18 and 19-year-old girls. Like, I was gang raped. A train was run on me. I gotta go to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
I don't know where this happened, that, and you don't know. And I mean, I'll admit, I became jaded. I'm like, you just don't. Either you're just numb to everything, or you just don't carry yourself like somebody who was just physically, sexually assaulted. Like, I mean, I'll admit it. I stopped believing them. I'm like, I don't believe that shit happened to you. I believe you want attention. I mean, and it's sad. Like, maybe it did. Maybe she's just numb to it. Maybe that's just like a weekend for some people. Like, to me, it's like I would be devastated if that happened to me. Oh my God! But like, I guess there's some people out there that's just a weekend for them. Like, I'm used to this. This has happened to. I'm. You know.
My client, the one that I yelled at that time. Mm-hmm. I remember once I had picked her up and her vein was blown out in her arm. Like, I don't know what they did to her or what they gave her, but they stuck needles in her. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you keep going back? Like, where's the deficit here?
And I think it's really sick in society. And I torture myself by reading comments. And there was this story about a man, a helicopter pilot, who had sex with a 14-year-old on the helicopter. And they were saying, I guess the thing was basically he got little to no jail time. And he's like promised her money or something because he had like a lot of money. He's like a millionaire or something. And I look in the comments, and these were men saying, well, she's 14. She knew what she was doing.
My God.
And I'm like, yeah, it's no way you're a father. It's no way. It's no way. And if you're a father, then you're not. I doubt you're a good one. If you would say a 14-year-old knows what she's doing.
That's crazy.
No, she physically went there, and she thought she knew what she was getting into.
Right.
But at 14 years old, you are a kid. You don't know shit. You don't know what, like, you're not capable of understanding that level of manipulation. Like, like, people who feel like 13 and 14-year-old girls know what they, like, you're talking about a 8th grader. An 8th grader knows what she's getting herself into with a grown-ass man. An 8th grader that's attention seeking. She's just looking for attention. That's all she's looking for.
That's crazy.
And it's like, you really think she mentally ready for that? Like, were you mentally ready at 14? Like, when people say that, like, she knew what she was doing, so you knew at 14.
That's insane.
I mean, you know, like, when people, these girls know what they doing. So did he, and he's the adult though. And it's like, if you was that smart and that savvy at 14, why were you even in your parents' house? Why didn't you apply to get emancipated?
To rewind a little bit, when you watch these shows as a kid, do you remember any of them that stick out in your head?
Stuff I watched as a kid,
like the very special episode shows.
Definitely the Saved by the Bell one, because that's the first thing I saw on TV that addressed like drug addiction. Right. I don't remember. I was too little to. I've seen only reruns of Different Strokes, but I don't remember that. I wouldn't remember that airing. I do remember like the police brutality episode. I don't think it was considered a special episode. I think it was just regular. But I do remember the police brutality episode on Family Matters when they harassed Eddie and didn't know he was his Carl Winslow's son.
As it should matter, right?
Yeah, and they like kind of like jacked him up. They beat him up.
Oh, apparently there was a Fresh Prince episode where Just Say Yo, where Will was given shot? Speed. No, I think that's the other one. They were robbed and Will was shot as a result. Carlton is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder.
And he went and got a gun. He made him give him the gun. I definitely remember that episode of Fresh Prince when his dad left him again.
Yeah.
And he said, "Why doesn't he love me?" Definitely remember that one.
That was touching. Not like touching like heart. Like that's one that you remember.
Because Will Smith acted the hell out of that scene.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's when you really like watched that and was like, Will Smith is an actor. Like that's when you really saw, like this guy's not fooling around. He's a real actor.
Wow. In 1977, All in the Family had an episode where Edith believed a serial rapist to be a police officer, and she lets him into her home, and she's almost sexually assaulted by him. 1977, that's pretty Stranger Danger. That's pretty good for 1977.
And the fact that Norman Lear is still alive out this bitch. And know what the fuck is going on around him. Like, I just love him.
He's alert and oriented times 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He is so cute. Like, he is such a cute little old man.
Little turtle.
Yeah. And he know what the fuck is going on. I love it. To be that old, and him and Marla Gibbs, they know what's going on.
Yeah. This is barking. He'll have to just bark. Everyone, don't be alarmed. He's fed. He went out. He's just being a brat.
No animals was harmed in the recording of this podcast.
Now, do you think any of that, like, sparked anything in your head? Do you think it gave you any ideas? Like, were you, like, afraid to use caffeine pills then? Were you wondering what caffeine pills were like after you saw Jessie Spano with her, I'm so exhausted, whatever that was?
Yeah. I'm so scared. No, I think because I was so far removed from high school and that level of pressure.
Right.
That it just didn't affect me. But maybe like somebody studying for the SATs or something at that moment. Like maybe somebody in her situation.
Right.
Would have. But I wasn't in high school at the time. I was so small. It's like.
I forget.
I realized it was serious, but it wasn't like I was in that situation to kind of like be like, oh damn, that could be me or people I know. I wasn't affected that way.
Question: do you think that Euphoria and shows like that, like even Grownish, that touches on like kids selling drugs in school and having sex and blah 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 blah, do you think that is a negative influence for teenagers now, or do you think that they find some kind of comfort in it because stuff like that could possibly be going on around them?
I think some kids will think like it's not just me, and then some other kids will maybe think, if they even going in that direction, or maybe not, but think like that's a really scary life.
Right.
Like, drug dealers like threatening my mom, always like in trouble, and possibly dying, and my little sister finding me overdosed, and like things like that. I mean, it could either scare you or teach you. I mean, one or the other. Scare you out of even doing it, or scare you to stop, or teach you not to do it. But I feel like sometimes whatever you do, you're gonna go through it anyway. You're gonna do it anyway. It's just how you come out of the other end of it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I haven't really like been able to put my finger on it. Like, I do agree with you. I'm just like, oh my god, like, I mean, it's on late at night, so
on HBO,
and it's on HBO.
Yeah.
Did that ever stop us? I mean, I used to watch Stream On.
Nah, I watched Def Comedy Jam, like, had that shit on low. But, I think
I've never seen so much penis since Oz, number one, since watching Euphoria. I just want to get that out there. People are like, they don't usually put penis on TV. You're not watching the right stations. And they're not cute. Like, they weren't. No,
not at all.
They weren't attractive penises.
But I think, too, I think Euphoria, target audience, might be, not even teenagers, parents.
Yeah.
Or millennials.
As a parent, does it scare you?
A little bit. It scares me that my kid, like, I think I'm able to pull off a kid. I can see in him, and maybe my opinion is biased, I can see in him somebody who's very strong-willed. I don't, like, I mean, not that he won't succumb to peer pressure ever, but I just see somebody who I see in him that strong-willed, like, you're not just going to talk me into anything.
Right.
Like, I kind of see that personality with him, but it does scare me, the peer pressure. And I saw a video once, I mean, I guess it was viral. It got to me on Facebook, where this kid, I don't know if it was fake, I don't know, but it scared me. I don't know if it was real, but the kid, they take something, the kid's foaming they're in their backyard, the kid starts foaming at the mouth, having a seizure, and everybody's standing around looking at him.
Damn.
And to me, it's like, I don't care if you call 911 and run. Just call 911.
Right.
You can't just let somebody lay there and die. And my other fear is that something happened and my kid is just there.
Yeah.
And you're in trouble now because you were there. Like, you were a part of it. And it's like, so that's my fear, is he's around something or a part, or take something just one time. And And even at work, like I've seen parents come in there, their kids kicked the, it was this one kid. The kid graduates in a week. Mm-hmm. The kid's kicked out of school. They will not give him his diploma until he finished the drug program.
Damn.
Kid doesn't have any insurance. Damn. I don't know why he not on the parents' insurance. They're over income for Medicaid.
Okay, Google, play Bob Marley in the living room.
Okay, Bob Marley from Google Play Music. Playing on living room.
Oh, I was gonna say, if they fucking plays it here.
They over income for Medicaid. Mm-hmm. Over income for charity care. Mm-hmm. Kid has no insurance. The program's $1,500 a day.
Jesus.
They're not. He's completed his high school credits are complete. They will not give him his diploma.
So the parents have to pay out of pocket?
They would have to pay out of pocket. The mother's like, he starts college. He starts FDU in September. Not starting FDU without a diploma. And I'm like, I mean, I get it, school, but technically he's finished.
Right.
Like, I can see it. They say you can't walk.
Right.
But you can't get the diploma. He's finished. I mean, I was like, if you can't pay $1,500 a day for this program, pay $1,500, get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer and get his diploma. I mean, and the parents was like, you know, even though they make a certain amount, but I mean, that kind of money, I mean, you're not making that kind. And the programs kind of work with him. Like, even if we do it for like a month, maybe 30 days, maybe we can get him his diploma. And they were like, the parents like, we can't afford that.
They can't get him that. And now I'm like trying to figure out the situation. Mm-hmm. They couldn't get him the Perform Care Medicaid.
I don't think he couldn't get any. I don't know if certain because I know there's some parents with Medicaid, and this parent, another time I thought about her. Her kids had Medicaid that she paid $50 a month for each kid, and they told her they were only gonna cover 80%. 20% of a $5,000 a month bill is a lot of money,
right?
When you think about, when you think about it. So, her kid couldn't come. Meanwhile, the kid's kicked out of school.
Damn.
And I'm just like,
I don't think these kids, like, not those kids that you're talking about, but like when we're reverting back to like the TV stuff, like these kids like barely care about school, like
right. These kids got driving around in $40,000 pickup trucks.
And let's be honest, like some of these kids, like the teachers obviously have to see some sort of these behaviors in these kids, and probably don't give a shit either.
And because it's almost like if the parents are not gonna do anything, what am I gonna tell you at school?
Right.
Especially in high school, the 45 minutes you in my class, what am I gonna tell you if your parents ain't told you in 17 years? What am I gonna do? I mean, I could bring your parents in here and talk to them, which should happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's almost like, what am I gonna tell you that you ain't been told in 17 years? And I think a lot of time I notice a lot because I watch kids. They've gotten in some kind of trouble. They've obviously got caught drinking or smoking weed or something at school for them to be kicked out and got to come to the program.
Right.
Or some kids are not kicked out. They just have to go to the program or else the school will put you out. It depends on the school district.
Right.
But sometimes you don't know the inside story. You don't know exactly what the kid was. The kid just around the other kids smoking weed and they made him go too. You don't know how, strict the rules are or whatever. But what I've learned from parents, they come, sit there and some of them talk their stuff. Some of them look exhausted, frustrated, whatever. And you see, not all these kids seem bad. They seem like, some of them seem like really good kids that just got in trouble. But it's like, I think parents nowadays shield their kids from too much.
Yeah.
I think a part of who we are is who we are because the 70s kids did sneak and listen to Richard Pryor.
Right. Because
us 80s and 90s kids did sneak and watch Real Sex and Cinemax and HBO and kind of like, I mean, whoever that parents council is, those mothers that try to block the fun of life from all of TV, whoever that group is, it's almost like it's reality though. Like I remember when my mother was with us and she gave me the money for the movie tickets and I couldn't buy them because I was 16, and it was like the kings of comedy or something.
Right.
And my mother was like, what? They wouldn't sell them to you? Like, what the hell? These kids see worse things than this on TV. It's just a damn comedy movie. What? So the lady was like, miss, I can't. I'm just following the rules. Miss. My mother was like, they see more shit worse than this on HBO. It's just a damn comedy movie. What the hell? This is ridiculous. But I feel like I wasn't shielded from everything. And I feel like kids...
I wasn't either.
I feel like parents want to shield kids from everything. And I feel like sometimes you have to sit your kids down and be like, let me explain something to you. Between me and your father, we bring $4,500 a month in income in this household. This goes to mortgage. This goes to lights. This goes to groceries. We ain't got time to be paying for your ass in no rehab. So, like sometimes you got to break it down for these kids. You want to get in trouble in school? We don't have no money for this. We spending this much to get you this. We spending this much to get you a car and insure you and you play your cell phone. And why you got on Jordans and why you got all these things. This is reality.
Right.
And like the realest episode of the Cosby Show is when Bill sat
when he does the Monopoly money
and was like, nope, you can't afford that.
Right.
Nope, you can't afford rent. Nope, by the time you pay this, like that was the realest shit on TV too.
Right.
Like that was an episode we'll always remember. Like that was the realest shit. Like and parents don't want to do that. You don't want to. I mean, when kids get a certain age, it's like, dog, this is. That's why kids think I'm 18. I can be on my own. No, the fuck you can't.
I tried to break it down like that with my client because she's like, I'll be 18 in 5 months. I'm out, and I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you think rent is?
Mm-hmm.
I said, first, how much do you think you're gonna make at a job?
Right.
She's like, I don't know, $10. I was like, okay, $10. So after taxes, $8.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, $8 times how many hours a week you gonna work?
Mm-hmm.
I guess 40. Okay. Sure.
If you could find a full-time job that pays you $10 an hour.
I was like breaking it down. I was like, how much do you think rent is? How much do you think lights are? How much do you think your toiletries are? How much do you think paper towels are? Paper plates? Whatever. Mm-hmm. And how much is this all going to cost? You're not left with that much money.
You're not left with no money.
I'm like...
You're not going to be left with no money.
Right. Like...
Once you pay your rent, you ain't going to be left with no money.
We'll figure it out. Will you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Figure it out right back in your parents' house. That's where you're gonna figure it out because the real world, the landlord don't want to hear it. The PSC&G don't want to hear it. They don't care. They don't care about none of your problems. And I think I just think kids nowadays are shielded too much. If my kid's in trouble, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you the real deal. I'm going to tell you I've been through it. I was a teenager once before. And then you're going to be in a bare room.
If you had a teenager, would you let your teenager watch Euphoria?
I would.
You would?
I would.
With you, with you though.
Right. Because I would be like as a lesson. Like, do you really think this looks like a glamorous life?
What do you think about this?
Yeah.
And I think it's a good conversation starter because a lot of parents don't know how to talk to their kids about stuff.
Do you think you could just try stuff and stop? Because not everything, you're not just going to shoot up heroin
and she was
say, nah, I'm good.
Banging on his door, crying for drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, please don't open the door. Please don't open the door. Please don't open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's sad.
Yeah.
Nesta is crying for no damn reason.
And it is. And I think I definitely would show it to my kid. And just like, this is not, there's consequences to this stuff. This is not a glamorous life running around trying to get, because where you're going to end up sleeping with people for the money. You're going to end up selling it or doing something for the money. I'm not fucking giving it to you. But I think too, maybe, I always look at this kids that's in trouble and they walk in $200 sneakers and, an iPhone and, fresh from head to toe. And I'm like, my kid, you be walking around look like you coming out. You want to be a criminal? You going to look like you coming out that county jail. You going to have them plain ass sweatpants, them sweatsuits from Walmart on. Maybe I'll let you keep your Nike slides. And you're going to be in a bare ass room, no TV, no Xbox, no tablet, no smartphone, no nothing. I'm going to give you a flip phone to call me for emergencies. And you're going to be in a bare ass room that look like a cell because that's where you need to be if you want to be gangster and be a criminal. that's how you gonna live then. I don't think kids nowadays understand. I'm here to give you the necessities. I don't have to make you fresh to death. You don't have to match. Like, your sneakers don't have to have just come out. Like, I provide you with footwear. It don't have to be Nikes and Reebok, and that's an extra.
You might get some New Balance.
Right, like that's extra. Like, I might just buy you something that's good for your feet, not that looks good. This is all extra. And I don't think that, and I know I shout out Brene Brown all the time, but I was listening to her and she was like, you gotta make your kids understand, you have to be vulnerable with your kids and explain stuff to them. But she said they did a study, and every time they did the focus group, where people talked about, oh, well, my parents were so strict I couldn't do this, or my parents were so strict I couldn't do that. She's like, there's always a few people in the group that don't say anything. And when she sits down and interviews them separately, like, how come you didn't say anything? What was your situation? She was like, they all said that they didn't say anything because they was embarrassed that they had no rules and no boundaries, and their parents let them do whatever they want. And they were embarrassed to say that in front of people. And she was like, they all basically said, like, I guess, basically they felt like they wasn't loved because their parents didn't say, like, I guess kids maybe don't realize it as kids, but when your parents telling you, I need you in this house by 9:00, it's because they care about you.
Right.
If your parents are telling you, you got to respect me, don't talk to you like that, it's because they care about you, because they know when you step outside the house and disrespect somebody, they might kill you.
Right.
It's when your parents say you got to eat vegetables, you got to do this, you got to eat that. It's because they care about you, because they know your ass need protein, you need iron, you need, But when you got parents that's like, eat whatever you want, come home when you want, do what you want, those kids actually don't feel loved.
Right.
And I believe that. I believe that's true.
So in Boston, they're like trying this program where they teach kids porn literacy in a class. And if you're under 18, you need to get permission from your parents, I guess 14 to 17. But if you're 18, I guess you get to choose. And I guess it's going to be like a pilot program. So basically what they're going to teach is helping teens understand their own values and beliefs about sexually explicit media. So how do you feel that this woman is exposed with her boobs out, or that they're sexualizing this guy or whatever? Learning the history of pornography and regulations of obscenity, de-glamorizing the idea of becoming a celebrity pornographer by debunking the myth that it's quick and easy way to get rich and famous.
Porn stars will tell you they not rich.
Right.
One of them, I was watching an interview with one. They were interviewing a bunch of them, but one broke it down like, you pay for your own hair, pay for your nails, you pay for your makeup, you pay for your weekly or monthly HIV tests. You pay. She was like, all these things add up.
Right. Like
you got I guess some people pay for a personal trainer because they ain't trying to be. Some people ain't trying to be on porn looking crazy. So they got a personal trainer. But she just broke down basically the hair, nails, makeup, pedicure, manicure, pedicure, whatever.
Right.
She said the HIV test was like 100 and something.
Jesus.
I think she said monthly. I think she said it was monthly. But she was like breaking it down. She was like, not rich. I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's like the older you get, the less opportunities you get, and the less you are willing to do, the less money you make.
They're also gonna define sexual consent and sexually transmitted infections. They're also going to talk about healthy flirting, sexual harassment, and revenge porn. I guess like it's happened so much in social media that a lot of times people have sex. They're like, let's record it, and then
And how about the scene in Euphoria where the kid from the New Edition movie grabs the girl by the neck, push her down on the bed?
Yeah.
And she was like, stop, what are you doing? And he stops.
And he freaks out.
And he was like, I thought that's what you wanted. And then she was like, well, you didn't ask me.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus.
And then he was like super fucking apologetic. He's like, sorry. And I'm like, yo, all this girl needs to do is turn around and be like, he tried to rape me. When you were like on him the entire time.
Right. And I think her point was, you just didn't ask me.
Right.
You didn't ask me what I wanted. It's not that I have a problem with your hand around my neck, but you just did it. You didn't say, and I don't think well,
everyone was kind of like pushing to him that like, she's a freak and she likes this and that, you know? So he thought he was doing what would turn her on.
And that's the kind of shit get you in jail.
So, I mean, maybe it's good that they're showing all this. I just watch it every week and I'm just like,
because I would love to tell my son, you know what? You do have to ask a woman what she wants. No matter what's said or what you think, or you just need to ask her because it's not that she doesn't want it. That's for real. You didn't ask what she want. You just start doing something rough and crazy, and you don't know if that's what she want or if she wanted it right then and there, or you know. And I think talking to especially your sons can, like, a woman telling them certain things can show them those little nuances and how they think and their behavior. Like, son, it's not that she didn't want it, but you need to ask her what she wants. Maybe that is what she wants, but she don't just want you hopping on her doing it before. You know, like, maybe mothers do need to try to teach their sons what wet means, what foreplay is, maybe it shouldn't be all dad talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, son, I know this is an uncomfortable conversation, but I just don't want you to end up in jail for some shit you just was ignorant about. Like, or didn't know you were doing, or didn't know was wrong, or, you know.
Maybe they should teach it in school. I mean, that would take not the burden or the responsibility, but it would take it away from the parents, but also, like, make a conversation starter. Come home and be like, Ma, I learned about this crazy shit in school. Or, like, maybe bring home a paper that the parents have to sign and be like, do you understand what this says on this paper? Do you understand what you learned today? Or if you watch one of these shows with your kids, you know, do you have any questions? What did he do wrong there? What do you think he could have done differently? Or,
because sex ed definitely got to be more about penis and vagina and uterus. And, I mean, y'all got to dig deeper nowadays. The only thing I remember about sex ed that sticks in my head, and I think I said this before in the podcast, is that the teacher wrote on the board the word "don't stop," and she was like, depending on where the punctuation is in this or the emphasis, like, this means two different things. Like, don't stop, I like what you're doing, or don't do this! Exclamation point! Stop! I don't want it. Yeah.
And she was like, you know, you really need to communicate. I don't even remember what the rest of the lesson was. I was like, oh shit. And I think I was in like middle school.
And I think when you start from the beginning, from when I think, like I said, parents want to, you know, everything is about, no, it's not time. I don't want to tell them. And that's fine. You tell your kids what you want to tell them when you want to. But I think all that censorship, like, maybe it won't be weird having that conversation with your kid when you're 16 if that's just what y'all do from the beginning.
Right.
Like, when your kid is 9, like, you know, if you have this open, you know, if you show your kids vulnerability, if you don't shame them for coming to you or saying something weird or random or asking random questions, your face says a lot. Like, I was listening to some other child researcher that was saying your facial expression can shut your kid right up. Like, Mom, I wanted to ask you something about vaginas.
Right.
And it's like, never mind. You know what I mean? Like, right then and there, you telling your kid, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Like,
you
gotta
do you
watch
know,
it,
honey?
And it's like, as maybe if you do it from the beginning, maybe it won't be so weird when he's 16. Like, yo, do we need to go to Rite Aid and get some condoms? Don't bring like people who just keep it real with your kids. Like, if you do it from the beginning, maybe it won't be such a awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know a parent that her teenage son went to her and was like, I like this girl, I want to kiss her. I don't know if I should or how I should. And instead of the mother just taking that for what it is and being happy that his son did not push somebody back on the bed and get on top of her,
right,
and possibly force a kiss on her that she didn't want, She's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want you to tell me that that's what you want to do.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, yo,
you missed the opportunity.
I'm like, he's probably never. And for kids and the way they mind work, it could be that one time they
never
try
gonna
to
ask you again.
They never gonna come to you again. And then all of a sudden, you got a grandchild because you can't. I can't ask mom, and he doesn't have. I mean, he has male figures in his life that he can ask. But I feel like everybody's a little weird about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it's gotta be somebody this kid can have a manly, non-awkward, I don't want to cross boundaries and I don't want to say conversation. Just talk to him. It's like it's 2019. Like these conversations can't be that taboo anymore. Like birds and bees, really? Like
it's gonna be uncomfortable, but like I have a mom who was like, I was uncomfortable talking to her about her period. I'm like, why? We all get it. It's gonna happen.
Your woman is it's what happens. It's nature. It's Mother Nature. That's how you a lot of things happen to you. That's how your body functions. I mean, if you could talk to your child about it, and it seems like if you can't talk to your daughter about periods, you can't talk to your son about erections. So you can't talk to him about not eating too much starch because you don't want to be diabetic.
Right.
Or I don't want you to continue. I want you to work out and try to eat better because I don't want you to be obese and have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. If you can't talk to them about period, then you can't talk to them about no other natural thing that happens. You can't talk to them about their bodies at all then.
Nah, I mean.
But I just think if it start from when they little, when they older, it's not gonna be that serious. Like we've been talking like this since you was 5, son.
Hopefully our generation does better. I mean, we were
because we know better.
We know better. Mm-hmm. We were the very special episode, and now we're just being like thrown into it. And I have no problem throwing a kid into it because you're better off that way. Like
instead of your friends telling you what's up that don't know any better,
right?
And and I appreciate it. I mean, my son's 3, and I mean, he didn't watch it, but I had the Pride Parade on. I wouldn't care if he did watch it. But he did look at it and was like, look, mommy, red, green, blue, purple. But he doesn't know what's going on. I didn't force it on him. I didn't tell him what's going on. But I'd never seen it on TV before. Maybe it's been on TV.
I don't know. I didn't even know it was on TV. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was on Sunday. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I should have went.
It looked like fun.
It looked fun.
I saw pictures.
Yeah.
I think Bridget went. I saw pictures that Bridget was
Bridget
there.
went, yeah. And I was like, damn, I should have went to I just don't like New York City with stuff like that and the parking and I guess I could have took the train, but
like, the train.
But it's just I'm not a big fan of parades because I just don't like crowds like that. Not small crowds. I'm talking about parade crowds.
Right.
Like I'm not a big fan of being scrunched up places and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really go to parades, but I'll go to a parade if my kid wants to go. It's not really, but it does look like fun. Maybe my anxiety is lowering as I get older. Maybe it's getting worse. I don't know. But if my kid said and I seen 2 celebrities on social media got a lot of slack because we was talking about how social media too has influenced like what we see on TV and social media, how it's all kind of interconnected. And I was 2 people got blasted by their social media followers for supporting their kids for Pride Month, Marlon Wayans and Dwayne Wade.
Oh, Jesus.
And the first thing people said to Dwayne Wade's son, who I think is 11, he's too young to know his sexual preference. And I'm like, that kid's too young to know if he think a boy is cute? But if it was a girl, wouldn't be. I doubt it. I doubt if a girl, 11-year-old girl says she thinks a boy is cute, everybody be like, oh, oh. Nobody would say she's too. And it's not about sex.
Right.
It's about, goddamn well, you look at somebody and get a tingly feeling.
Right.
That's what it's about. And everybody said, it's like this whole thing about LGBTQ history. I don't need to know history about who somebody chooses to have sex with. Nobody even thinks about there's a history of rights people fought for in the last 50 years. Like people fought for rights, just like civil
just
rights,
to get
just
married,
like,
just to go places. I mean,
right. So it's like, why does it immediately go to sex, like as if that's the only difference? But it's not the It's not the difference. These people were shut out of society, so it's not, But people got on these two celebrities that supported their kids, and it's like, you can't tell somebody how to love their kids. And Marlon Wayans was like, go hate your own kid. You're not going to convince me to hate my daughter. I mean, it's his daughter. What do you expect them to do?
That's
Disown
terrible.
her? And somebody was like, you can love your daughter without supporting her. And it's like, maybe you can.
Right, that's not how I roll.
That's not how, right. Maybe you can love your
That's
kid.
terrible. That's really super terrible because, like,
and that's implying.
you want to see more people supporting you because, like, some parents may be uncomfortable with, like, I don't know how to feel about this. And then when you see other people, outwardly being, like, cool with it, the dads that stand, like, around being like, I'm a dad, give me a hug if your dad won't give you a hug. Like, those people are the people who, like, make the difference in, like, it's okay. Who cares what your friends think or your church thinks or whatever? Like, do you love your son? Are you okay with what's going on? Like, then that's it.
Just live your life. And the thing is, I get it. Like, I could love my kid, I could love my daughter and not support the fact that she's dating a drug dealer.
Right.
I could love her and not support the fact that she's
getting
butt injections. But it's like, and this is people, and the people that have so much to say is people that thinks it's a choice. But not everybody thinks it's a choice. People believe their child was born the way they are, and they have no choice but to support them, because that's not. And a lot of people use the word choose. This is the life you chose to live.
Right.
This is your choice. And when people say that, people don't understand it. But it's kind of, people don't understand it, but it's kind of, what's the word? It's a little belittling when you said you choose, because gay people don't feel like it's their choice.
Right.
So when you say, well, however she chooses to live her life, or however he chooses to live his life, like, you're implying that somebody sat somewhere and made the choice, like, I think I'm going to go ahead and be fully gay. Yeah, I'm going to be fully gay. Like, nobody made that. I didn't sit and choose to be straight. I didn't have a conversation with myself like, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and keep liking guys and I'm going to be straight.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing that kind of pissed me off is, like, the straight people were like, we need a straight pride parade. Shut the fuck up.
Every day is a straight pride parade.
Like,
every day in society is straight pride.
Oh, I don't have the bandwidth for this. I just don't.
And that's another way of, like, bringing down people's like, and I saw people saying stuff like, I can't wait till June is over, it's too much, and it's like, you don't have to participate in anything.
I saw
you could just ignore it.
My one friend was like, why is this shit everywhere? It's at Target. Like, why do my kids have to be exposed to this? I'm like, do you want your kids to be ignorant fucks like you? I don't know.
And exposed to what? Rainbows?
The rainbows bothering you?
Like, are there men, like, bent over fucking in Target? Because if it's not, what is your kid being? I remember somebody saying to me, I don't want to have to explain two men walking down the sidewalk holding hands to my kid. Why? Like, and ask yourself, it's not your kid that gives a fuck, it's you.
Right.
And people putting it on their kids. Don't put that shit on your kids. It's not your kids, because kids don't give a rat's ass. It's you. All kids know is what you teach them, and who. And I keep hearing it, like, when I'm reading this parenting stuff and listen to Brene, listen to Lil Duval said it on the radio. Your kids don't do what you tell them to do. Your kids do what they see you do.
That's true.
And if your kids walking down the street see you scrunch up your face, see you show all kind of disgust at two people minding their business, that's what they're going to pick up.
That's very true.
Even if you don't say nothing to the people, even if you don't, but when your kids see your body language and your tone of voice and how you talk about certain people, how you talk about people with disgust, and how you hate people, and that's what they learning to do, what they see and hear you do. What you could say, mind your business, has nothing to do with you, just don't say nothing. But what they hear is hate. What they see you doing is hating people that have nothing to do, and that's what they're gonna go. That's what they're learning to do. These people are not like me, so I hate them.
That's just insane.
Because there's people such as like you always see people with like quote unquote hippie parents,
right?
And so them people run around mind their fucking business.
Love
Why? Because
everybody.
they hippie parents was loving everybody, smoking weed, mind their goddamn business. And being spiritual and meditating and shit in their bell bottoms and their afros and minding white and black afros and dreadlocks and shit and minding their goddamn business. And that's the kind of kids they raise. Kids that go out in the world and mind their business. And then when you got uptight fucks walking around that think because you're not conservative and Protestant and white and rich or upper middle class or whatever like me, something's wrong with you. And sometimes kids stray away from their parents even though they see the opposite. Sometimes like something's wrong with you. Something, you know, but especially when I guess you get a little education, you're like, nah, this is not the way I want to live. But it's like, I have no problem telling my son two people of same sex love each other. And it's none of your business.
Just I remember I was out with Nubia once and her son was like, he's like, what if you saw a guy kiss a guy? And she was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, listen, you love who you love. I told you that. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't even know why he came up with that or where he came up with it. But, you know, she's like, no, you love who you love. And she's like, that's the end of the story. And I was like, oh, that escalated quickly. I was just like, well, that was good. I was glad she said that. But I was just like, where is he coming up with this? Like, what is he seeing stuff on TV? Or
maybe a kid asked him.
But you know what? Good if he saw something on TV because now he knows where his mom stands on it. You know, and then like if somebody asks him, he'll just repeat what she said basically.
Right.
You love who you love, and that's the correct answer. I mean,
and he'll see his mom being nice to everybody.
Right. Sorry if it's not the correct answer for you. I'm very sorry. Fuck off. But you know that's why kids say shit. Like the day I think I told the story. Like the day I was like playing with the kids in the park. And I was like babysitting for a little interracial boy, and this little white kid rolled up and was like, "I don't want to play with the black kid." I was like, "Holy shit! Who told you that? Yeah. Someone told you
Somebody told you that.
Somebody told you that because that's terrible. You wouldn't care. You just see a kid.
And I just want to play with the kid. Seems cool. The kid's not trying to bully anybody or acting crazy. I want to play with him.
Then the mom was like, we don't say that. I was like, bitch, listen. I'm not dumb.
Even how, and speaking of mixed race, even how society and TV media shows like things like mixed race, unwed mothers, like from commercials. You saw that people had, it was like a little social media outburst about the Cheerio commercial with the black dad and the white mom.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, why do you people give a rat's ass about? Everybody thinks advertisement is the devil until it shows some shit you don't agree with.
And Gillette was like, "Oh, you didn't like our toxic masculinity ad? Okay, we're giving you a trans ad. Fuck y'all. Good for you, Gillette.
Trans people shave too."
I was like, "Yo, Gillette ain't fucking with y'all."
Yep.
But no, like shows like Modern Family and oh god, what was the show called? I really liked it. I think they had two gay dads. Not my two dads. They weren't gay. But
I know what you're talking about. I forgot the name. I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember what the show was called. It was like not Modern. It wasn't Modern Family, but it had like a similar like title, like This Is Our Life Now. But I really liked that show, and I was like, yo, this is awesome. Like, show people that this stuff is going on. People don't like it. I don't give a fuck if people like it or not.
And I understand people feeling like
now I have to rescind my comment about mixed. Like,
but
I guess I see why it's important, but Blackish has a lot of spinoffs going on, so
yeah.
Kenya Barris is like, what else can we do?
And I can see where people can feel like it's being shoved down their throat when it's certain things like, oh, Bert and Ernie's gay now, and they were gay, but we just couldn't say it, and on this cartoon, this person is going to be trans, and on this cartoon, they're going to have a gay wedding.
Elsa's going to be gay now.
Yeah, like it does kind of feel like they're going overboard with it. Just put it in a natural, like, okay, if you want to have a sitcom about two guys that adopt a kid and raising a kid as a family, okay, it's almost like it's not forced. It's just like, oh, that's a story.
Yo, this dog is like not giving up. Oh my God.
It's almost like this is a story we want to tell because this is somebody's story. This is the producer's story. This is the writer's story. This is who's in the writer's room. So this is what we're doing. But it's like when you start putting it in every single cartoon, it does feel like it's shoving it down people's throat a bit. It does. And it's like it doesn't have to. And like people almost make it in their heads as if gay people are the ones trying to put all these things, and it's not. Gay people just want to live their life like everybody else. It's not gay and transgender people that's trying to force you to like them. They just want to be able to live and mind their business.
Right.
And have the same rights as everybody else. It's straight people deciding that Bert and Ernie's gay. That ain't the gay people. Ain't no gay people have nothing to do with that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they want all that to go on. I think they just want to live a regular life like everybody else and not be told what they can and can't do when other people are doing it just because they're a different sex or a different gender. Like, I don't believe that. It's not gay people doing this.
So, in conclusion, or do you have anything else?
I
don't know.
Oh, just that about the how social media, how do you feel like social media and like TV and media shows us romantic relationships? How has it changed? What's it like? Married at First Sight, The Ant, Say Yes to the Dress, dating shows, like
some of them are like more personal, and some of them I feel like are like more scripted. And I can't figure out, there's like, sometimes there's a balance and sometimes there's not. Like I told you, I was watching the whole Double Shot at Love, and then like I was really actually happy at the girl that Vinny picked. But then I guess like they played the reunion show right after, and like first of all, I don't think she's as shy as she came off to on the show, because she's like on Instagram, she's beautiful, but she's on Instagram and she's like half naked and she's a model, whatever, and she's just all like, yo, fuck this, this is where I'm at. I'm like, I don't think you're as shy as you said you were. But like the reunion show, I guess like they weren't allowed to talk. They weren't allowed to like go in public for 5 months, but they were allowed to talk, and they weren't like allowed to. They were allowed to like privately meet, but I guess they didn't. Yeah. And so they came back on like, this is the girl he picked, and blah blah blah. How are you and Elise doing? And she was like, so Elise, like, are you gonna like talk to Vinny? And she was like, nah, I'm good, love. I was like, oh shit, she hit him with that, nah, I'm good, love. Like.
And what about what it shows us about romantic relationships, even like Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives? Like, do you feel like it showed us like everybody's just like replaceable? Like,
yeah, like I don't know, like Love and Hip Hop, I kind of just feel like okay, Remy Ma and Peppa was the only one who have a normal relationship,
right?
Like, part of me feels like these women, like I know there's a lot of women like this out here, but like part of me feels like these women are like kind of looking real stupid, because like,
guys are just playing them, and they just
how you gonna let a man play you so many times
on TV,
and then he just comes through with roses or something, and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What?
And it's almost like these things, like, he
bought me a dog, we're good now. What? No.
And some of these things just feel like you could go out here and find a man or a woman, as long as you know, maybe look a certain way or have certain material things, or you have a certain type of status, or you know, it's like, I'll go with whatever I want, whoever I want. And it's like, oh, this ain't work out, oh, divorce, move on to this one. Like, and this is my storyline. And it's like, even with social media and like relationship goals, it's like Instagram is like, and Facebook is like, this is where you look into for real. We don't do that.
Right.
We don't do those type of things. We don't go there. And a lot of people is like posing in front of green screens and like fake mountains. And people are looking at these people like, we don't go skiing. Fuck. What
like, they ain't skiing either, shit.
Right. And it's like,
they need to have like a reality show. Maybe it wouldn't be interesting. Like, if somebody came and filmed your relationship or my relationship. Like, no, not every day is roses. Right. You know, some days we just like high five each other. How was your day? How was your day? You know, and right now we're sleeping in separate rooms because I can't stand the snoring. Right. But that's real. Like,
yesterday was too fucking hot to cuddle.
Oh God,
don't fucking touch me.
No,
like, don't touch me. Don't talk. Don't say nothing. Like, well, like real arguments that real couples have. Like, you know, I mean, I watched Private Life on Netflix with Paul Giamatti and I think the lady name is Catherine Hahn, I think. But it was a real, like, it felt so real. It felt like these people was real. Like, it wasn't even a movie. Like, they was having a hard time having a kid. And she did in vitro. And they were doing, like, some, like, meet a person who wants to give their kid up for adoption website. And then they got stood up by the person. And they were FaceTiming with her and really getting to know her. And then she, you know.
She backed out.
She, like, they was like, she just didn't show up. And they were like, sometimes girls do it for attention and give you fake ultrasounds. And it was a movie that, and they were like this couple that in their 40s in this little ass apartment in New York, and it was just real. Like, they weren't rich people in a big ass mansion. One of the in vitro treatments, he borrowed the money from his brother, and it's just real. Like, that's real shit right there. Like, you do gotta take a check from somebody else sometime, or like, I need help, or this ain't, you know. It was, and then they end up asking like the niece for the for an egg.
I was gonna ask my niece for an egg.
But it was just real.
Don't leave me alone.
Hi, Nesta. Go outside. Go outside.
Sorry for the interruption. I had to get that dog out of here. He was giving me a damn headache.
But
That's
it was
real.
just real. It was just real life. And I appreciated that movie. I'm like, this should be a show. This should be a reality show. Maybe they pay for a couple couples in vitro, couple people, and show them going through it.
Yeah.
So maybe like other couples know, like, oh, it's not just us. Or this is not, have them talk to the camera like, yo, I'm fucking frustrated. I don't even know if I want to be a mom anymore. Because it was one scene where Paul Giamatti tells us when it doesn't work. And he's like, I know it sounds really fucked up right now. You probably don't want to hear it, but I'm just being honest. I'm relieved it didn't work because it's just over. Because I'm just glad it's over. Because he was like, we're not even a couple no more. We don't have sex no more. I'm just sticking you with needles every morning. Like,
damn, that's deep.
It's real. Like, that's really how it's like. It's not that I don't want a kid, but goddamn, this shit's stressing us. It's taking our life away. Like, that's how, you know. And it's like, you know, people want a kid so much, they go through so much. And it's real. Like, some days you are frustrated. Some days you give up. And then you wake up the next morning and was like, I was on some other shit. I still want to. You know, it's just a roller coaster of emotions that, you know, it's like, I just feel bad, you know.
I do appreciate that the people who are on some of those reality shows have, like, their social media presence. They're responsible with that.
Right.
I do appreciate that. Like, the one girl, Jamie, who was on the first Married at First Sight, like, she'll, every time there's a new, like, Married at First Sight, she'll re-explain, like, you know, guys, I hated him in the beginning. I didn't didn't find him attractive, this and that. She's had, like, a bunch of miscarriages. She finally had her rainbow baby. But she puts all that stuff out there. And, like, part of you's like, damn, like, she puts all her business out there. But there's a lot of women who are like, thank you so much for this because I'm going through this and I'm glad to know I'm not alone. Like,
I thought I was a horrible person for having those thoughts.
Right.
Other women have those thoughts.
Like, right. Like, or the moms who are like, yo, I love my kid, but I'm about to, like, wring his neck because look what he did to my wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is impossible. I need a vacation. Like,
and there's so many parents out there that mom shame, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's just really sad that it's like, you know damn well that you have moments and days and hours and periods of time where you feel like you're not doing a good job, where you feel like this kid's not listening. What the fuck am I doing wrong? What the fuck is wrong with this kid? What's wrong with me? And when people mom shame, it just bothers me to the core.
Right.
Because I'm like, I know damn well that you went through this. I know you did. You didn't have the perfect toddler. You didn't have a kid that didn't throw tantrums and repeat shit he not supposed to say and shit all over the place. Like, don't tell me you didn't go through that. Like, and it's just, the mom shaming has to stop. It's not going to stop. It's always going to be judgmental people. But, like, keep that shit to yourself. Like, go home and call, like, whoever and tell them what you think of my parenting. Don't fucking tell me.
Right.
Like, it's just, people have to stop going up to people telling them what they think of their parenting.
That's fucked up.
It just shouldn't be. And it's no, therapists, psychologists, all these people would tell you there is no right or wrong way to raise kids. People will tell you there is to sell books. People will tell you there is to get ratings. There is no right or wrong way to raise kids. There's going to be different ways from different people with different personalities. And when people mom shame, these controlling people who think their way is the only way. You gotta stop mom shaming people. It has to stop. Keep your thoughts to yourself. You can think whatever you want to. Go tell somebody else. Don't tell the mother. Don't put it on social media. Don't comment under her. And I mom shamed in my head when I saw somebody put on Facebook that 2 of their kids got left back. My first thought is, what the fuck are you doing at home? That was my first thought. And then I corrected myself. I'm like, I stand corrected. You know what? Maybe she doing the best she can teaching them how to read. Maybe she doing the best she can. Maybe her and the dad is doing the best they can to get this kid's grades up. Maybe he's just not a good academically.
Right.
Maybe he's good at building shit. Maybe he'll be a great mechanic. Maybe he'll be, you know what I mean? Maybe he's funny as fuck, or theatrical. Maybe he'll be a good actor. Maybe he just academically, he's not strong, and the parents are doing all they can. But that was the first thing in my head. What the fuck are y'all doing? These kids are getting left back. You know what I mean? And sometimes you do gotta stop yourself. Like, nah, maybe they trying to, but they are very active parents. They
Especially
seem
if you don't know. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what's going on in people's
maybe the kid's a little slow. But like. I thought about it. I said they do seem like very active parents. They always at the kids, activities and taking pictures with them and taking them places. And, I mean, dad's taking selfies at work. They work. You know what I mean? They taking care of their kids. So they trying. I'm like, maybe the kid is just not strong academically. Maybe they're not doing anything wrong, But sometimes you just got to step back and correct yourself. Like, nah, you being judgy. Being judgmental.
Don't be an asshole.
Right. Like I do it all the time. Be on Facebook and I see somebody post, I'll be like, fuck is you doing? I'm like, April, you being judgmental. That's not, you don't know the story. You don't know why this person's saying this or what they're going through. Or sometimes it's just about correcting yourself. But that's it. I guess TV show us a lot of shit. We just gotta
start taking it in and processing it and sharing it with your kids and make it a conversation. I mean, this was a conversation. I mean, if you have a teenager, watch an episode of Euphoria, see if you feel comfortable, or any show. I mean, whatever. See if you feel comfortable watching it with them. Watch it with them. Let them ask you questions. What do you think about that? That's crazy, right? Or whatever. Just open the door to dialogue. Because this is bigger than, the child molester at the bike shop. Like, not that those are the least of your problems. There's still very much problems, but the child molester could live next door to you or, be in your house, whatever the case may be.
And show your kids vulnerability. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, really consider Miss Brene. She trying to tell y'all how to do better. But if your kids see you like, you in an iron suit all the time, that kid probably not going to talk to you.
Right.
I mean, if that kid doesn't hear you say, sometimes I'm scared. Sometimes I, cry. Sometimes shit scares me to death and I don't know what to do. Like, or I'm scared. I'm going on a job interview. I'm scared. Like, just little stuff can tell your kid, like, it's okay to say I'm afraid. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay. Like, if you feel like you got to wear that, and I come from that. My mother was the pillar of strength 24/7. And the times I saw her cry, I'm like, somebody either dead out this bitch. Like, and it's like, my mother never showed. I mean, there was times she showed it when she just didn't feel like not
right.
I guess, you know what I mean? Or it just snuck out. But that was not a thing for her to be vulnerable. And it's like, I think a lot of our parents, it wasn't a thing because they felt like they had to show us strength.
Even now,
all the
like
time.
when I have to go to the hospital for something, I'll be like, Mom, are you scared? She'll be like, no. And then she'll tell me why she's not scared. But then, like, I was like, well, were you scared when I had my surgery? And she was like, yeah, I was scared. And I'm like, okay, but you're not scared now. And she's like, no. She's like, there's just the test and this and that. You know, and she's like, we took all the precautions. And I'm like, okay.
It made me scared is not the way. It made me nervous. Are you a little nervous? You know. And you say, I'm not nervous anything happened, but you're my child.
Right.
I'm just nervous because you're in a hospital getting a thing.
But sometimes, like, if I know my mom's not nervous, I know, like, I'm being irrational. Because my mom's pretty decent about telling me, like, no, this is some scary shit.
And sometimes the nerves is just about, like, it's just a natural. You're my child. And you don't feel well. So it just unnerves me.
I don't like flying because my mom didn't like flying. She made me think it was the most terrifying thing in the world. And now I still think it's terrifying and she thinks it's fucking wonderful. She's like, you can get to Florida in 2.5 hours. I'm like, I know, but there's so much things that could go wrong, Mom.
Meanwhile, the fear is lingering from 40 years of your ass not getting on no goddamn plane. And it's like, I noticed there's some things, like I said, if my son want to go to a parade, I'll go. But in my mind, I'm like, Lord Jesus, please don't let nobody please don't let me get squeezed up in no crowd. I'm not gonna freak out, but I'm gonna freak out inside. But I'm gonna wave the flag with him, you know, because sometimes they see us scared, they be scared, you know. So it's like, I tried at the petting zoo. I tried to let the goat. I couldn't. I screamed, and he will not touch the fucking goat now. And I felt so bad when you go. And that tongue come out, I couldn't do it. And now that boy would not go nowhere near the fucking goat. And I'm just that little thing bothers me, because I'm like, if I would have just did it, he probably wouldn't be afraid. And I couldn't do it. I just screamed and dropped all the goat food and just, I was like, I can't. And I'm like, damn, and now he won't touch nothing. Like, no, I mean, he'll take a stick and touch stuff sometimes. But he screamed at the lightning bug.
Oh my God.
Like he was like, I'm gonna touch it. I was like, okay, go ahead and touch it. And he touched it and it flew. He was like, ah, like Macaulay Culkin Home Alone scream.
Oh my God.
I was like, what is a lightning bug? So I touched it.
April's face.
I was like, see?
Oh, you're like, I took one for the team.
But his dad did it too. His dad's like, look, Kai, see? And he, you know, his dad had 2 bugs in his hand. I was like, but it seemed like that eased his fear of the bug a little bit. It seemed like he kind of calmed down, you know. So
when kids see you like touching something or trying some food, you know, they'll be like, oh, okay, let me try it.
And it's like some stuff I know what it is and I like it, but I'll say to him, Mommy's never had it either. I'm gonna try it. It's a lie. It's okay. I just want him to try new food. So
although we came from the very special episode genre of life, I feel like now we have to be like the generation that kind of says this is what it is.
And we got to do better.
This isn't a very special conversation. This is life. Like, this is not whatever. And yes, it's scary and it's this and it's that, but we'll get through it and we can conversate about it.
And you could say all day, my parents didn't talk to me about this. My parents didn't talk. You're not your parents.
Right.
We're not. And our parents did the best they could with what they knew.
Practice it. Call your friend up and be like, I gotta talk to my son or my daughter about this. This is what I'm going to say. What do you think?
Right. Does this sound crazy as fuck or should I go with that? And it's like, we're not our parents. And our parents did the best what they could with what they knew. And we know better now. We know better. We know that there's 8-year-olds hanging themselves because they're getting bullied.
Right.
We know that there's kids out there getting sexually assaulted at school. And it's not all. Sometimes it's people sending nude pictures of your kids on through text group chats with 40, 50 other boys or girls in group chats. And it's child porn and your kid could be charged and all these things.
It's a scary world, so you better just get ahead of it.
You gotta open your mouth and stop censoring everything from these. I don't censor nothing from my kid. He watched goddamn T-Pain, not T-Pain, what's Future videos. Listen, he might as well know what the fuck twerking is now. He watched Future video, whatever video on YouTube. I don't just let him on YouTube Kids. I don't have all kind of, And I know people think I'm a bad parent for that. I don't have all kind of things blocked off on the, but I mean, he doesn't see porn, you know. I don't, he watches kid stuff. His mind automatically goes to kid stuff. You know, he sees colorful stuff. But I just don't censor everything. Nothing was censored for me, really. I mean, my mother was like, I don't really want you watching HBO, but I mean,
yeah, like it was on.
The parental controls wasn't on. I mean, you know, come on.
It was a suggestion.
And I'm fine. I'm not perverted. I'm not a stripper. I'm not twerking on the pole. And I was not super censored about any. I wasn't super censored at all. I mean, everybody cursed around me. I was just.
Yeah, I knew what not to say in public.
Right. And I wasn't cursed at. That's the difference.
Right.
It wasn't like, you little motherfucker, you little bitch, get over here. Like, I wasn't cursed at. I was cursed around, but not at. There's a difference. And I wasn't beat either. And I still listen. I still respect my parents. So.
Well, let us know what you think. Let us know if you checked out any of the new shows or anything like that. Let us know how you feel about, if you're open with these conversations with your kids, or if you don't have kids, what your thoughts are on the whole process. And you can find us at BedLoveBeyond@gmail.com if you have to write into us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you get your podcasts. And we will catch you next week. Enjoy your 4th of July.
Peace.
Peace.